Hey, everybody out there. It's Carla Pleasance here and Carlie Pleasance.
Hi.
Pleasance Family Ministry. And we just want to say hey to all you guys out there. Uh, all of the folks that come to our church. If you're listening, we miss getting together with you all this evening during this particular podcast. We miss all of you. We'll be back to regular schedule on Sunday morning. To those of you who do not know who we are and where we meet and what we're all about. Like I said, we're Pleasance Family Ministry. We are here in the Johnson City, Tri City area of Tennessee, and we meet at the Gray Community Center on Wednesday evenings. We start music at 6:15, and Carly usually preaches at 7. And then Rusty Pleasance, he does Sunday mornings from 9:15. We start worship, and he preaches at 10. And it's just a very laid back type of environment. Come as you are. Some of us just wear, jeans, cowboy boots, whatever you feel comfortable with. If you want to dress up, dress it up. It's pretty much, laid back as far as how that goes. And I see Carly sitting over here looking at me, so I'll let her say hi to y'all.
Yeah, tonight is very different compared to our normal Wednesday nights. And we do want to still take the time on Wednesday nights, whether you're, with us or not with us listening. We want you guys to know that you guys are loved, and we still want to come and encourage you, give you something to, refuel you. On our Wednesday nights, we usually call it midweek refuel. Kind of like a tank in a car. You can't just keep it ungassed. You have to
Right.
give it gas to let it keep going that next 100 miles or so. So that's what we're doing tonight. We're still giving you the opportunity to gas up when you need it. Because if you going down the interstate or you're going down a back road that you've never been on before, you never know when it's time for the next gas station.
Our family is really good at running on E. It's like we have family members that come visit us and they're just scared to death when they go down the road with us. They're like, that thing's pushing E. Are you going to stop and get some gas? And of course, we ran out of gas a couple of times over the years, but
We're the type of people, we know our cars. So
we push it to the limit, and it's not a good thing with Jesus. You don't want to
No.
push that one to the limit.
Yeah, well, you want to make sure that you keep him in your life, and no matter what's going on, sometimes we get to those points in our lives where we're disappointed because we missed that gas station. You're like, oh man, I should have stopped at that gas station because maybe that gas was cheaper, or that my car runs better on that gas. I know certain vehicles need certain gas that runs better on them.
They do.
So you get to that point where, like, I wish I would have opened my Bible this morning. I wish I would have prayed this morning. I wish I would have done something this morning to strengthen my relationship with God, or to take it to where this problem does not bother me as much as it is bothering you. And so today I kind of, I thought I had a doctor's appointment for today, and it's one of those doctor's appointments that I was really looking forward to because it was like going to determine some medical things that I've been going through. And I get to the doctor's office and they're like, we apologize. We know we told you it was today. So they already took the problem on themselves. I know I watched a TV show one time where it's like the three main rules of doctors is never blame the hospital and never say that you're sorry. And one other one I'm slipping my mind right now. But they told me, they're like, it is our fault and we are sorry about this, but it is not today, it's actually tomorrow. And we're like, oh, well. And like me having anxiety, I was like, well, at least I know where I'm coming. They already gave me the paperwork, so I don't have to like fill that out tomorrow in like a room, like having a panic attack. Am I going to get this filled out in time? Are they going to call my name early? Like, what's going on? So, for me, I'm actually really relaxed now because I know where I'm going. My paperwork's filled out. But it still kind of upset me because I was like, man, I was really looking forward for these results. But because of that, I was able to get some other things done off my list, and God used that as a way to, cure, panic attacks from what was going to happen. And he also used that as a way to give me answers to other questions I was having. Which, if you don't know, I've been struggling the 3 years now with my allergies. Learning about what I can eat, what I can't eat. New food allergies were coming up, And the picture, what was interesting is Pepper, I don't think really knew that I was going to the allergist today to get a list of papers. And the picture that he had chosen today, if you look at the picture today, is a little box of strawberries, which is one of the fruits that I can actually eat. I love my strawberries. I've been craving strawberries recently. So I was looking up here and I remember earlier Mom and I was talking about the fruits of the spirit. So I looked up the fruits of the spirit because I can't remember them all off the top of my head all the time. I'm not perfect. I do remember them as I need to remember them. And the list that I have pulled up is actually a little wheel with fruits on it. And the fruit, one of the fruits is a strawberry. And that one, the word next to the strawberry is patience. And sometimes we need to learn that patience is a big part of life. And you see it all through the Bible. You know, Moses had to have patience when going through the wilderness with the Israelites. It was, nerve-wracking. It was terrible. Everyone was complaining. And because they complained, it kind of pushed it out more.
And he got very aggravated. He got aggravated with God. He's like, hey, are you going to help me here? You're going to have to help me with these people. Because if you're not going to be here and you're not going to do this, you might as well just do away with me. Just pretend like I was never here, never born. He didn't have much.
And it's, and we see it all through the Bible with patience. Even Jesus himself, it said that he rolled his eyes at the humans. He rolled his eyes and it said, how much longer do I have to be with you people? He was already tired of Earth, and he'd only been here for 30 years by that point. And he was already tired of it. How much longer? And sometimes we get that part of Jesus. That's was supposed to be tried to be like Christ, but sometimes we can leave that part out. Sometimes we get to that part where it's like, how much longer? What more am I going to have to go through? My appointment was actually moved up at the last minute. I was supposed to wait till the end of the month to go, but because of how serious this issue is, we called them and we're like, hey, listen, this is serious and we cannot wait any longer. And then it turns out I have to wait one more day. And sometimes in our life, we don't see that. We have to wait one more day before God answers us. We have to wait one more hour before we get what we're looking for. We have to wait. And it's like, the longer we wait, the harder it gets. Because we're almost like, God, do something.
Yeah, his
What's going
timing
on?
is so much different than us. It's like a day, 1,000 years in heaven is a day on earth. So, you know, it's kind of just think we had to wait 1,000 years for that appointment.
Oh, gosh. Well, and it is like that. And when we're waiting in God, in the waiting, in the prayer, and the worship, when you're waiting for that answer, that's when you really show your fruits of patience. When you really show that thing of, I don't want to wait, but I wonder why God's making me wait. What is going to happen tomorrow? Well, I'll tell you why. Why. This thing, I really wanted my husband to be with me. And he had his own appointment today at 1:00. And I was like, man, that sucks that my husband's not going to be with me. So Mom went with me, which she was amazing to go with. She helps me when I'm in new places. Anyway, so it kind of worked out with that. But I still wanted Seth to be there. I still wanted Seth to be there for the fact that, he's my husband now. And we become one together. So, like, whatever happens to me is happening to him. We're both kind of stressed out about this situation. And so we had to separate today during two of our biggest appointments. He had his big first interview. I had my big appointment, and we're both like, we're not going to be together. So I try to call him before I go into my interview. He answers the phone. He said, are you okay? Are you hurt? I said, no. He goes, have you gone to your appointment? I was like, I'm about to go in, but I wanted to see if we could talk for a second. He said, I actually cannot talk right now. I'm in the middle of pushing a mower. And then I'm like, well, why did you answer the phone? He's like, well, I wanted to make sure you weren't hurt. I'm like, well, I'm not hurt. And then he hung up on me. Which, I mean, understandably, if he would have kept talking, he probably would have gotten ran over by the mower. But, there's important things. But by it being pushed off one day, my husband gets to go with me. He gets to experience it with me, which ends up being really good. We get to find out the answer together. So
That's good.
so there are times when we're like of course when I first got there, I'm like, oh my gosh, really? This again? I have to wait again. Everyone's like, well, one more day is better than 28 days. It's better than that. And really the whole fact about waiting on Seth didn't come to me until just now. God just really did reveal that to me. So see, He might not even give you the answer right when you want it. Sometimes he might show it to you when you're least expecting it.
Yes, yes, he does. He definitely shows up when you're least expecting it. Wow. He's good. He's good to us. He's very good to us. We don't think he's being good to us sometimes, but he is being good, and we'll understand one day what it is. I can't wait to look back myself personally and see where the angels he sends to protect us, and what they do to help us out, what their commission is. Of course, we're not supposed to look at the angels like they're God or anything. They're just here to help us and oversee us and protect us. And I'm sure many times out there, just like with him with the mower, we don't want him getting run over with the mower, but he loved you enough to answer the phone for a second.
And sometimes God does that for a second. He'll like let you know he's there for you when you need him, when you call him. He's there for you. But sometimes he can't give you the answer right away. Sometimes he can't give you the exact attention you need right away because sometimes you have to go by yourself. You have to strengthen your faith. He's there. He's there to listen. He's there to help you up. But it's like with Job, the devil went to God and was like, "Hey, I saw your servant Job." And God's like, "Yeah, what about him?" And the devil's like, "Well, I want to tempt him because I bet I can take him from you." And God's like, "Okay, go for it. Do whatever you want to him. Just do not kill him." And sometimes, and God saw everything that Job was going through because he told him that at the end. He was like, "Do you know how many stars there are? Do you know where the ocean begins and where it stops? Do you know what the ostrich thinks? Do you know all these things? No, you don't, but I do. And because I know all these things, I've seen what you went through. And because of that, I'm giving you double the amount of what you've lost."
Double for your trouble. Yeah.
And I know I talked about that last week about double what you lost, double what you get. Right now you might be having anxiety and depression. Well, guess what? There's going to be a day where you get double the joy.
There you go.
You
Amen.
get
That's
double the finances. You get double the health. You get double. We had a very good friend who passed away this year, and he's got he passed away to some health problems. And now he's in heaven. Well, I know without a doubt that he's in heaven. And I know that he's got triple the health. He's got triple the joy. He doesn't have to deal with anything of this world. And that's a good thought to remember for anyone who is dealing with the loss of a loved one, that they are in a better place.
yes.
They got triple the health.
It's good. Mm.
I like to say, I know that Job only got back double, but we're to the point where we believe that we can have better than double, that God's going to bless us with better than double. He's going to triple our blessings. Because let me tell you, when you get to heaven, that's everything. It's infinity. It's infinity goodness.
Yes, it is. Nothing like here. It's amazing. It isn't even describable.
Yeah, no.
Even Jesus said that. He said that how could he talk about heaven when they couldn't even understand the things on this earth? And
How much longer must he be with us? He was
exactly.
missing heaven that day for sure.
I
He
guarantee
was
it.
missing the peaceful streams, the golden paths,
Yep. Yep.
walking around without having to wash your feet.
Yeah, boy, I bet. Oh man, can you imagine that? We take for granted so many things that we have in this country here in the United States. We take so much for granted. I mean, wow, things.
We take for granted our medicine. We take for granted all the things that God's blessed this country with to have, and things that He's blessed ourselves to have. Like we're not to the point yet where we have to secretly worship. We're not to the point yet where we have to keep our mouths shut. We can stand up for Christ. We can stand up for God. We can stand up for what the Word of God says. And the more you get comfortable with him, the more, like I said, cozy with Christ, the more you get cozied up with him, the more you don't want to leave him. You don't
That's
want to
right.
leave that spot.
That's right. Exactly right. Speaking of cozy and comfort, think about back then when they rode camels everywhere. We take our cars for granted, even if it's a crappy little car or a very expensive nice car. We take that for granted. I mean, can you imagine? Even before cars, the knowledge and the things that he's let us have. My goodness, I couldn't imagine riding a camel or a donkey or a horse every single place they went back then. They didn't know what a car was.
I couldn't do that. I adjust my seat throughout the day. We just stay in the car all day, and sometimes the seat gets uncomfortable, so I readjust mine throughout the day. I'll slide it back or slide it forward, set it up, set it down to make it more comfortable for me. They couldn't do that. They couldn't move the humps of a camel. They couldn't, you know?
A bumpy ride. I say bumpy rides in life, but boy. Mm.
And it's little things like that. We even take God Himself for granted at times. You know, we know He's there, but we only call Him when we think that we need Him. We only call Him when things are going wrong. It's like if I wasn't a prayer or anything, I could be like, "Oh, well, Lord, now I'm having medical issues. Help me out because I need you now." But even when I was healthy, I remember when I thank Him, I remember when I was a kid, you'd say the prayers, now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep and all those. Well, at the end of it, I'd be like, well, bless mom, Pepper, dad, Craig. And then I'd feel bad because, I have other family members. I'd be like, okay, bless my cousins, my uncles, my aunts, my grandparents, this. Most of my grandparents were dead, but I was still blessing them because I felt like I didn't want to leave them out. That's how a little kid's mind works. And then I would remember, I'd just like, thank you for my health. Thank you for my parents' health. Lord, if there's anyone who doesn't have health, touch them. That's because when I was a kid, I knew the importance. It says in the Bible, out of the mouths of babes. The kids know. The kids know. And as you get older, you get more stressed. You get your bills, you get health issues, you get all these things. And it's like, man, where are you, God? And then He's like, I've been here all the time, but you've been ignoring me when life is good.
Exactly, exactly. Oh my goodness, yes. And we have to learn to be happy in them times when the gas is low or it's going to run out, or even if it does run out. There is times that the gas is going to run out, but we have to learn to be happy and not wait for the next big job or the bill, this bill is paid off, or we're waiting for marriage. We can't wait to do this. We can't wait to do that. Life is going to be better when I get that better promotion. Life is going to be better for this. Life is going to be better for that. And then we're unhappy in those times. We're just complaining and just constantly complaining, just like the Israelites did in the desert for 40 years. If they would not have done that complaining, they'd have got there a lot quicker. But we do all that complaining and just think it's gonna be. And sometimes we just really gotta just be happy in the waiting.
Yeah, and even and it's no matter how long that waiting is, that's where the patience comes into with our little strawberries. It's our patience to be patient in the waiting. No matter, it's not going to happen in your time. It will never happen in your time. There might be an odd coincidence, odd coinkadink when God does it in your time, but that's only because that's one of those rare moments where your time and His time lined up. It never happens in your time. You can do things to make it seem to go faster, but it won't. You can go take out as many loans as you want, but you're going to have to pay those loans back. You end up
You can't borrow your way out of debt.
it says that in Proverbs, I believe. So you can keep going and you can keep going, but instead of keep going thinking, "Oh, I got this. I got this." You don't got this. You have to give it to God because God's got this. You have to learn that that happens. And as Mom said, joy in the waiting. You can have two two fruits of the spirit working at the same time. Like I said, I have a little wheel here with fruits. And I find it funny that joy is listed next to the banana because the banana, when you turn it sideways, it looks like a big old stupid grin. It looks like a big old grin.
And if it don't look like a grin, you turn that banana over and make it go up and not down.
Turn that frown upside down. And then you'll be working in two of the fruits right there, patience and joy. Be happy when you're waiting. Be happy. When McDonald's is taking longer with your fries, that only means they're coming out fresh and hot. They're coming out crunchy and hot. Well, I don't know about crunchy. Hopefully crunchy if you like crunchy fries. But if you don't like crunchy fries, then hot and soggy. However you like your fries. They're coming out hot. You want it to come out hot. And you'll find when you get those working, those are the two, I believe that those are the two foundation fruits is patience and joy. Because when you get those two down, everything else kind of falls into place. Because you'll be able to be kind to people. Because happiness brings kindness. And you'll be able to, learn how to be generous to people. You want to share your joy with people. I know whenever me and Mom's together, if she's ever upset, I'll let her vent, do her thing.
I seem to do that a lot, don't I?
Yeah, it takes a while for her to vent, after her 4 hours of venting. Then I give her some of my joy. I know not to do that in the middle of her venting. Because then she'll bite my head off.
Patience, patience.
Yes, I practice patience every day. But then I share my joy with her. I share my advice with her. I be generous.
You're good at that. You're very good at that. She is good at that, guys. She really is.
But see, when I'm failing, when I have my meltdowns, I don't have them often. But when I do have my meltdowns, when I cry over a cup of coffee for no reason, my mom's there for me. She's like, now what do you tell me? How would you say it? Everything happens for a reason. And you hate that.
You do. We hate it when we each preach to each other. When you live in a house full of preachers, there's 6 of us. When you live in a house full of preachers, one of us will be, lining the other one out. We'll lift them up, but we don't like the lining out before we lift them up.
I hate it when she uses my own words against me. I hate it when Dad sets me down and he's like, okay, here's what's going to happen. And it goes into like a 20-minute lecture of things I already know. And I'm like, Dad,
You've told us
please.
this 100 times.
I'm like, well,
If you're married to a preacher, you learn that everything is a sermon.
Yes, riding down the road, you learn the sermons, you learn it. You get to the point where you just smile and nod.
And you're looking out the window.
That's another thing that tests your patience.
No, he's good though. He is very good at what he preaches. But when you're in the house 24/7 with a preaching family, it can.
Because it's like, why? How come people come to me with problems? Like we have our church, and we have over 2,000 people, and we have people come to us, and we're like, well, how come they can come to us with problems? How come they're allowed to have problems?
Yes, that's true.
And we give them advice.
Yes,
Which
yes.
I love doing that. I love helping people. But it's like, how come they can have problems and I can't have problems? How come when I complain, I get preached at?
Yes.
Why can't I complain? And then you get
Correction is love. Sometimes you don't want that correction, but correction can be love.
and you get to the point where it's like, okay, I understand I'm not supposed to complain. Because, like I say, there's a reason. I don't know what the reason is. I don't know when the reason will be revealed. But there's a reason.
It is always a reason. Always. A good one. He has a good reason for it. We won't think it's a good reason in humanity, but it is a good reason, and we'll understand it one day.
It's like when you get to heaven and you get to see that flash of your movie happen of what happened in your life. And it's like, oh.
You probably look back now at things and think, oh, you look back and you realize things in your past, your history of your past of your life, and you look at it and you say, oh my goodness, thank you for unanswered prayers.
Yes. Like, thank you for that relationship that I thought I'd be so happy in. Thank you for removing that toxic person out of my life, for removing that toxic friendship out of my life that I thought, we were real close. Thank you for removing that job out of my life. Thank you for removing things out of my life. I may not have liked losing my job at that moment, but I see now that it was important for your plan.
Yes.
We often forget to look at his plan because of our plan.
Mm-hmm. We are our own worst enemy. We get in our own way of his plan.
When you get a plan, you have to say, "Okay, I like this. Do you like this, God?
Mm-hmm. Do you like this, God?
Is this what you want us to do?"
Excuse me? Yep. For sure.
We get to the point where we're like, okay, I got it down. Tuesday I'm going to the doctor's. Wednesday I'm going to go out to eat with some friends. Thursday I'm going to go wash my car, and then it rains on Thursday. And you don't want to wash your car in the rain.
Unless you're Pastor Rusty.
And his son Pepper. And Pepper and Dad, they'll wash their car while it rains.
It's going to rain for 3 days. Why are we doing this?
Every time I go to wash my car, it rains. That's my excuse.
Me and Carly, we could care less. We're just like, let's just go with it.
As long as I can move my feet, my car is clean.
There you go.
As long as I'm not stepping in gum, my car is clean.
Yeah, we set him crazy with that. Every family has their issues and their quirks. Your family, I'm sure your all's families out there listening, and as she said, all of you that listen and write us and watch us, and we thank you all for that because it lets us know. It's even if you think that it doesn't matter. Oh, I'm not going to say any comment to what they're talking about. It is helpful when you comment because then we know we're doing what God wants us to do. That it's touched you.
I like it because I've had people be like, well, I don't want to, take up your time or anything. No, please take up my time. I have no friends, so please write me all you want. No, I'm joking. I have a few friends, but still, I'm like constantly on my phone anyways. So give me something to do on my phone. Write me for advice. Write me for prayer. Write me for whatever. Mom, Pepper, Craig,
Yeah.
Seth, even Dad. They're all here. That's what we're here for. Is we're here to guide you, to help you
And
know
if
things.
Messenger is not your thing and you actually want to call, you're listening right now and you need to call for prayer, you need to talk to somebody, the phone number for the ministry is area code 423-773-7958, and we will be happy to talk with you or whatever. We're here.
And that's what we've learned from our mistakes. We've learned from things that we have battled in our own life to be able to help any walk of life, anything, if we've had people message the ministry and dad will be like, "Hey, I can't answer this. Can you answer this?" Because it's something that I have dealt with more than they have. Or I'll take them the phone and be like, "Hey, someone messaged the ministry. I've never been in a toxic relationship or I've never been on alcohol or drugs. This is for you guys to answer." So we have somebody for everybody here.
Yeah.
We have people of all different ages. If you're an elder person, you'd rather talk to somebody old. That would be my dad. He's the oldest one. And then if you're a woman who just wants to talk to an older lady, that would be my mom. So we have everybody, if you're a teenager. If you're a teenager and you want to talk to more of a teenager, we got Pepper and Seth. They're both teenagers.
Yeah.
Well, Seth will be 20 this Sunday. But then and then I'm kind of a middle age. Me and Craig, we're in our 20s. Craig's closer to 30 for people like that. So we have a range of people.
Yes, we do.
And that's where Christ works with us, because we all sit around and we all talk about God. Craig has he's going to school right now and he had a subject that he had to deal with, and we all sat around and we talked to him about it and he talked to us about it, and we were feeding off of each other with this subject because we love to do that. We love to learn more. We love to talk about Christ. Anytime that we can talk about God, we do.
Yes, we do.
I would say he would be our 99% talked about thing. The other 1% is probably food and napping. I like to do that.
It's good. It's good.
So this week, as you the rest of this week, whenever you feel like it, if you feel like you're low on gas or you're low on whatever you're low on, maybe you drive an electric car and you have to charge your battery.
There you go. That's right.
Just remember that we're always here for you to help you charge up, to gas up, do whatever you need to do that way. But one person that's always,
It's diesel fuel.
but one person that is always, always there, even when we're not there, because we might not answer right away sometimes, God will be there. He is there. He is listening. It says in James that when you draw near to him, he will draw near to you. And it might not seem like it because, sometimes, like I said earlier, mom will vent for 4 hours and I won't say a word because I'm just listening. And sometimes he wants you to lay out everything you're thinking because he's just listening. He wants to know your thoughts. He wants to know your emotions. Yes, he knows them, but he wants you to tell him. He wants you to build that connection with him. It's like a friend. When you make a friendship, you just don't go right out and tell them your social security number.
Oh gosh.
You first, you start with your favorite color and then well, actually, you shouldn't tell your friends your number anyways. But I was trying to think of something really personal. You don't get to go out and start telling your friends your real embarrassing secrets. You first, start with your favorite color and your favorite animal. Things that you probably dealt with that isn't a big deal for them to know.
You can tell Jesus your social security number. That's good.
Well, Jesus, you don't need a social security
No,
number.
you
You
don't.
just need spiritual security.
There you go.
But when you get to that point, but with God's the same way as making a new friend. You have to tell him everything because as humans, we have this mind frame of trust. We have trust issues, and it's hard for us to trust humans, and we don't realize that we can trust God. We can tell him whatever we want whenever we want, and that helps us psychologically believe that because we can tell him anything, he's listening.
Always.
He is listening. That is like the main thing to always remember is God is listening. God will help you. And like I
He
said,
loves you.
he might not do it in your time, but he will do it.
You just hang in there until he does.
He might not do it the way you want it to be done, but he will do it.
And you can do this. You can make it through this. Whatever your this is, you can do this with his help. But you gotta go to him with it. You gotta trust him.
Wake up and talk to yourself in the mirror. I will do it. I will make it farther. I will do this.
Yep. Speak it out loud.
Speak it out loud. There is power in the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
The tongue has so much power. Speak it to yourself in the mirror. Speak it to yourself out loud. Tell the devil, you ain't got nothing on me because Jesus is on my side. You're not going to take me down today.
Nope.
You're not going to put stress on me today. You're not going to put worry on me today. Our last podcast, we talked about worry. We're not going to worry today. No, we're not going to be stressed. We're not going to be feeling unloved. We're not going to be lonely today. I can never be lonely when the Holy Spirit lives with me.
Yep. You speak that stuff out loud and make the devil run when you say Jesus. He hears you talking good stuff. He don't like it.
See yourself the way that God made you through his word.
Yes.
Don't see yourself how the devil's made you through the world. Because your insecurities will break you down. Your thoughts, the thoughts that come against you will bring you down.
The negative ones for sure. That's right. That's right.
Yes, the negative ones. Be patient. Be joyful. Find joy in whatever ever you're going through. No matter
Yes.
what it is. You know, these medical results, no matter what I get tomorrow, I'm going to be happy.
That's right.
Because if it's one thing, I'll be ecstatic. If it's the other thing, I'll be happy to know that I have to keep trying to get better. I have to.
Somewhere in Psalms or Proverbs it says, no matter if I'm high, you are there. No matter if I'm in the lowest depths of the of Hades, of hell, you are there.
Mm, He sees you. You know, you hear people say this saying, "Oh, I'm going through hell right now." Well, he sees you.
Mm-hmm.
He's there with you. It just said you're going through it. He's going with you.
That's right.
He's going to be there for you. He's going to drag you out. He'll walk in with a bat, beat him up as he takes you out.
All you do is ask, help me. And he's there.
It's like we said the last thing, there is no prayer that he will not hear. If that was the case, there'd be no such thing as a sinner's prayer. So if you think that you've fallen too far away from God, if you think that you can't get back to where you were spiritually, well, you're wrong. You're letting the devil defeat
That's
you.
right. Yes, you're listening to the devil's lies.
Don't listen to the devil's lies. Don't do that. That's not a good one to do.
He's under your feet. He told us that in Luke 10:19. He gave us the power over the enemy, and by no means nothing can harm us. He gave us all the power over the enemy to tread on snakes and scorpions, to tread on serpents and scorpions, and that's the devil and the demons. And he says that they are under your feet. And don't forget that. Don't ever let the devil make you forget that. Just always say, "You are under my feet, devil, under my feet."
Another thing I really like about that verse too is it says nothing at all will hurt you. It doesn't say nothing will hurt you. It says nothing at all. He lays it all out. Nothing's gonna happen. He says nothing at all. He emphasizes. Excuse me.
Emphasizes.
Yeah, there you go. That's why she's here. Helps with the words.
That's not always a good thing when you got my mountain hick, my mountain hick.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't understand me.
We were talking about that the other day. Our voice to talk doesn't like to listen to us. It will say words that we do not say.
Oh yes, that thing hates me. My text to talker, oh that thing just hates me.
I'll pray for it.
Yeah, it needs prayer. Oh my goodness.
But what's good is even though if you think that you have a thing that you can't be understood by other people, God will understand you. Because you don't even have to speak it out loud for God. You can just think it and He hears you because He hears the
He
mute.
made you, he knows you.
He hears the mute and the deaf hear Him.
Yes, it's true. That's right. That's exactly right.
So this week, whenever you need that battery charge, that refuel, the fuel up, whatever vehicle you use, if you pedal a bike, your chain will stay on.
There you go.
You got the strength and the energy to pedal that bike with no means. You can pedal it up that hill with no struggle at all. No matter what it is, be patient. Be patient. Be joyful in the patience.
If you're walking, put one step in front of the other and keep on going.
Every step you take's another step you won't have to take.
That's right. You can do
Every
it.
step. It's one step at a time. So this week, as we end it here today for this podcast, we will see you. If you're coming to see us live on Sunday morning, 9:15 for worship, 10 a.m. for the word. You can also just watch it on Facebook if you want. Then we should be able to be back at the community center next Wednesday for regular service, which worship on Wednesday nights begins at 6:15 and 7 p.m. for the word. And I think that's it for tonight, and we'll hope that y'all listen again next time.
See you later.